All right, here we go. All right. Hello. Sean Brady coming to you live on this fabulous Wednesday. Some people call it hump day. I'm just calling it Wednesday today because all kinds of crazy things are happening in the world. Found out that kids are not going to be continuing to go back to school. So they will be coming back home and we'll be homeschooling the older teenagers. I should say homeschooling virtual school. In a little bit. So that's a fun twist to our COVID situation. And today, with the fabulous Jaleesa Powell in the background and also the wonderful Jenny in the background. Hey, Jenny, try typing in a question for Jaleesa, and we'll see if that she can get it. Or anybody else watching us live right now, not pre-recorded, also type in a question to see what you got. But today, we're doing a little fun thing called assessing personal assets. And we'll get into that in a second, but I just wanted to check in. Jaleesa, how you doing this fine day? And is it a fine weather day where you're at in Atlanta, Georgia?
It is. It is amazing. It's probably about 70 degrees right now, a little bit higher.
Well, that's slightly warmer than 50.
Yeah, just a little.
It's good, though. I'm not complaining. It's warmer than the 33 degrees I started my walk in this morning, so that was fine.
Wow. Yeah. Anything's better than that.
It was a little chilly, but that's okay. We appreciate what we got. So assessing personal assets, what do you think I'm talking about?
Well, first I want to mention that we can see the chat live, and Jenny said hi. So hey,
hi, Jenny.
Awesome. So what do I think about?
Why don't we ask her? So Jenny, as we go along, you'll think of a question. Just feel free, or anybody else out there, go ahead and type it in, and we'll go from there. But we're talking about personal assets. But since I got your voice recording in there, and Jenny can participate too, or anybody else live can participate. Assessing personal assets. What do you think we're talking about?
Assessing, in my head, it immediately comes to like value and understanding the value of assets that you have.
Yeah. So if you think about that for a little bit, some people are thinking it's like, oh, well, I got some money in my savings account, some money in my checking account. Maybe I got a collection of some sort or assets like that, right?
Exactly.
So there's other assets too that are personal to us that are uniquely ours. Because what's the first rule about personal finance? And Jenny, you'll get to learn this too. It's personal. Right? So it is personal. It's to us. You're not going to do it the way I'm going to do it. Jenny's not going to do it that either one of us are going to do it. We might do a lot of things the same way, but our goals are personal to us. And that's what makes it really cool and unique. So assessing personal assets are just that. They're actually your assets. Sometimes they're called talents. Sometimes they're called our strengths, right? But if we look at those objectively and we actually focus on those become our strongest assets, and that's what has us feel like we're not really working because we're working the assets that work so well in our favor.
Nice. And Jenny also said, hey, property is definitely one.
Yes. And that's any type of asset, right? So there's property assets, there's portfolio assets, there are business assets, there's relationship assets, right? And then so there's all these different kind of assets that we have in our life. And as those build up, those are the things that can build two things, right? Hopefully two things, especially on the road to wealth and the road to riches. And those two things are simply what we've talked about before: saving and investing.
Correct.
Right? So there's kind of a differentiator between savings and investing. Sometimes we think they're the same thing, but I wanted to distinguish in a little different way today. All right, if that's okay with the audience.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so savings is simply that. We're saving some of the things for ourselves. We're doing it for a baseline. We're doing it for more of a protection and an understanding of like what we can do to do the other, right? Because I think what some people are doing is, and I'm guilty of this, I've done this before, is I've invested before I really saved, right? And we've talked about having a financial cushion, or, you know, your 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Dave Ramsey likes to talk about that. And it's a very similar principle. Your savings, it starts with an S, right? It does start with an S, but remember that it keeps you safe. Your savings keep you safe. Your investing will provide a much richer savings or safety net down the road, because it keeps up with inflation, ideally beats inflation, but there's more for you in the years that you don't want to work, or for the things that you do want to do at any time in life, right? You can't have one without the other.
Exactly.
You can, but investing deals more with risk and our risk tolerance, and that's definitely personal to everyone. So I know I'm saying a lot. I want to see if it's gelling with the audience and you, Jaleesa. Is that making sense so far?
Yeah, that's making perfect sense.
All right, cool. Any questions about that so far?
Nope, not yet.
Got it. Good. So those are the simple things. If we're remembering that, if we're building up our savings to eventually put into assets or investment assets, that's where we generate portfolio income, recurrent rental income, things of that nature that'll feed us down the road. Instead of trading our time for dollars, now we're just having our dollars work so we have more time. Correct. And that's what investing is all about.
That's what investing is all about.
And that's what we all want, right? A little richness, a little happiness.
That's all.
Do something like the Leverage Your Lunch Hour show.
Exactly.
It's good stuff.
Jenny's
right?
giving us a thumbs up. She agrees.
A big thumbs up, right? And so the whole premise behind, if this is the first time you've ever seen this show live or at all, right? Leverage Your Lunch Hour is that we're not necessarily eating together, but we're using this time, whatever time it is around the planet that you're enjoying your lunch, just to clean up our thinking a little bit. What are the things that we're actually doing with our day? Because that's we can never get time back. So what is it that we want to put in the near future so that we have a greater return, right? For a bigger future. And that could be on anything. It's the joy of the things that we like for our hobbies, for our faith, for, just anything, our relationships with people. It's all great stuff. So that's what this show is all about, is having you think a little bit about your time and leveraging your lunch hour, whatever time of day it is, wherever you're at on the planet. So wanted to share that and give a big shout out to Medici, fabulous media coordinators. We got Jenny in the background. We got Jaleesa. I know Alex is in the background somewhere. We got to say thank you. And just fabulous stuff, because technically I can do all this stuff, but I probably won't. So a big shout out to Medici and all that they do for organizational support, as well as the media support and all that good stuff too. So thank you, Jaleesa. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, LaShonda in the background. I know she's back there watching and it's like totally staying quiet somewhere.
It's our pleasure.
It is fun stuff. Now, is there anything about anything on this episode that you had a question about on investing or savings? Or certainly personal assets?
No, I don't have any right now. I checked the chat. Jenny seems like she loves the content. She's really excited about that. So that's awesome. Thanks, Jenny. And I personally don't have any questions.
Cool. Well, should you choose to accept, here's a little homework for people out there who are watching this video in the future. Make a list of your personal assets, beginning with all the things that are personal to you. And I promise you'll get more of those assets to build up those personal assets in your life for relationships, for your faith, for your money, all those things. It'll be really interesting to watch how those change over even between now and the end of the year. Right now it's November. It's October. Oh my gosh. No, it's November. It's almost Thanksgiving, right? So it's the 18th of November. All right. So that's what I got. your assignment, should you choose to accept, is just look at your life and smile because you got some awesome assets in your corner.
Hey, we have one more question, Sean.
Oh, good. I'll take it.
Jenny asked, how do you value talents?
Good question. So,
great question.
In valuing talents, first you look at what you believe your talents are, right? And then you can do it a couple of ways. Money is a great thing because it's unbiased indicator of what talents you have and what you're doing with them. It just is. It doesn't mean that somebody could be more valuable or not. I mean, we could take a singing profession, for example, right? We would call that a talent, the ability to sing or play music, right? I kind of have that ability, but I'm not a professional singer. And I don't really want to follow that path, right? I might like to jump on a microphone and think I can sing once in a while, especially on a karaoke machine, but I'm not actually getting paid for it. So we want to look at our real talents. It's like, what is our ability to do to bring help or bring value to somebody else in exchange for something that we want? And it could be money, right? That's why we go to work, is get a paycheck, right? But when we're assessing our talents, that's a great place to start, is like, well, what do I want to develop? Because the more things that we look at that we can develop today that we really want to, it won't feel like it's work, but it is actually quite enjoyable. I was talking with my buddy Chuck this morning, and I'm like, he's like, what would you change? I'm like, going, I love learning stuff. And when I first started in real estate, and it looked like I was really successful from a numeric standpoint, but I wasn't really focused on real estate. I was really interested in learning about and kind of like cracking the code on some of this tax information that was out there. And it had nothing. I mean, it had a lot to do with real estate, but compared to what most people think is real estate, it had nothing to do with managing property. It had nothing to do with an asset class, whether it be multifamily or farmland or anything else. It was really the talent that I was really interested in, of learning something new. And if you look at my YouTube channel, Jenny sure has. That's why you see all the things that I'm interested in. And I sometimes get in a deep dive, geeky learning mode about that. And that's just one of my talents. Even doing this practice of our little YouTube challenge, right? Or little YouTube channel. It's not a challenge. Well, it is. It's a challenging channel. But looking at this, it's like, how can we develop that? I don't know if I want to make sure and check in. Jenny, did I answer that question?
Let's see.
And if not, Jaleesa, did it sound like I answered the question?
It sounded like you answered the question. Awesome to me, Sean.
Awesome. Cool. Well,
that was great.
That's what we're going to do today. Thank you for asking the question. It always helps the flow of these conversations. So thank you for participating. And hey, if anybody else leaves this out there, if you have any questions, please, we'll put all this stuff in the show notes. We'll talk about Medici. We'll talk about some of the sponsors that I got. And the big thing is that we want you to leverage your life. So leverage your lunch hour, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. You ready with that bumper, Jaleesa?
Got it.
All right. Yep. Then thank you. As she pulls up the bumper, thank you, Jenny, for participating. Go out, make a list of your talents, and that's where you can begin to assess your personal assets. I need a sip of water. I'm coughing at camera. It's real. It's uncut, unedited.
It's real.
And hey, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, we might not see you in person, but we'll always see you right here on social media. Thanks for watching. Thank you, and thank you.